Can you give me a little more of the drum? I got a little ahead there.
Welcome to Fishing Across America with Dennis Green. I'm your host. With the Pacific Coast in the background and a full moon, I'm coming to you from Del Mar, California, a small coastal village right north of San Diego. That's where we're living now. On this show, I'm going to take you to some of my favorite fishing spots throughout America. Some you've heard of, some you have not. Some species will fish for you've fished for before, some you haven't, and some you'll wish you had. You know, I'm 58 years old, but it seems like just yesterday when I was 8, my 4 older brothers and I would hear my dad call out, "Billy, Bob, Stan, Greg, and Dennis, let's go fishing." Well, that was always magic to my ears, and it still is. We'd go fishing in the Susquehanna River, and many times my mom would join us. My dad and Billy would be using fly rods, casting for smallmouth bass. Bobby and Stan would be using bucktail jigs floating in the current for walleye, and Greg and I were using live worms and bobbers for bluegill. You know, my 8-year-old son, Zach, he loves to fish, so he'll be on the show a little bit later. And if we're lucky, my wife Marie and our 10-year-old daughter Vanessa will join us for a little green family fishing. But in the meantime, well, the moon is setting in the west, which is unusual. The sun is rising in the east, and it does that every day. In the words of my dad, let's go fishing. Welcome to Fishing Across America with Dennis Green. I'm your host. Well, when you think of Florida, sun, sand, surf, swimming and snorkeling, they're great, but it's also about fishing. Coming from east to west, north to south, there's nothing like fishing for tarpon in Key West, Florida, and that's what we're going to do today. Permission to come aboard, Captain.
Come on, Dennis.
Thank you.
You got it?
Brian, great seeing you this morning.
You too.
What Captain Brian's doing now, he's looking for fish right now. We're using our radar system, our GPS system. We're only in 20 feet of water. It's amazing because we're about 6 miles offshore. We're looking for a little deep cutoff right here. Now, Brian, when you say you're looking for fish, how do you think we're gonna find them?
We'll see them rolling.
Okay.
They look like serpents when they roll. They can actually gulp air
Right.
out of the atmosphere and process it. They have like rudimentary lungs, but when the water's this cool, they don't have to do that. We're gonna throw live crabs now. We're gonna try that. If it's not too late, we still have a chance of getting one on a bait like that. But we'll throw it out where the fish are.
See him? See him? Right here?
If they're within range, get up there and toss to them.
Okay.
But you just drop it in there and let it free swim around.
Okay. We're watching the line very carefully. We're watching the rod tip very carefully. He's there. He's there.
Wind it. Okay, you got him. Just
Okay.
Over the fish.
All right, get ready for the jump, man. This is anywhere from probably 40 to 60 pounds. He's shaking his head. He's peeling line.
Good job.
Thank you. Right, you feel? See him? Woo! It was 6 feet out of water. It was beautiful. It's a big one, isn't it, Brian?
That's a nice one, yeah.
It's a nice one.
40 or 50 pounds anyway.
How much?
40 or 50.
Oh, it's bigger than that.
That was a beautiful job.
That was as beautiful as you'll ever see. Shaking his head. There he goes. There he goes. He's gonna come. There he is. Bam. Coming for a jump. Jeez. There he's going. Look at this. After this battle. Okay, I think we've just about gotten, I know I said that about a half hour ago. We already have a legal catch, which means that we've touched the leader. We're not going to bring this big tarpon in the boat. If he did, me and the captain would have to get out of the boat in about a half a second. There he is. Get him. Get him.
Watch your rod tip there.
Get him.
Okay, I've got the leader. That's
Get
as
him.
close as we're going to get there, okay?
All right, baby. Woo, she's good. Good job.
Very good.
Good job. Thank you. We're moving up in position with Captain R.T. Truce, and I've fished with him many times. We've got Chris Spencer, the grandson, and we got Creighton Green, who's not related to me, grandfather. Yesterday, grandfather caught 150-pound tarpon. Well, you know now, you're first up. I've already caught my tarpon for the day.
All right.
Grandpa caught his yesterday. Now, what that means is when we cast that line up there and start drifting, the first hookup goes to young Chris Spencer. He says he's ready. Let's see.
I'm ready.
What he's trying to do is he's going to drift this back at the same speed that the bait that I'm cutting up goes back. And what happens is it'll get a sink rate where it drops down and goes behind the boat where the fish are feeding. I got a pinfish for you. It's cut up just like we're drifting back.
What pound test?
50-pound leader, 20-pound test.
Okay. Man, oh man. He is going after it.
Coming up right between the boat. May jump. You gotta jump. Bow. Beautiful. Excellent
Great
bow.
job. Good call,
Excellent bow.
RT. Good call. Tip this way.
That's a big fish, Chris. Got it. He may jump. He's a jump.
Tell you, Chris went after this fish very aggressively. He's done as good a job as you can to control that fish. Even now, after 20 minutes, the fish just peeled out about 30 or 40 yards of line. Big fish. That's about 140-pound tarpon, man. There you go. I tell you what, that was quite a battle, Chris. How'd it feel getting that 140-pound tarpon?
Awesome. Thanks.
Now, what are you going to tell him when you go back to school? Chris is a 9th grader. What are you going to tell him when you go back to school from spring break?
say you guys went home and I went to Key West.
America has so many beautiful spots, but there's no place for sunshine like Florida. There's no place like fishing like Isla Mirada. What an island, what a paradise. I'm going to be joining with Jimmy Johnson, legendary 3 rings, national championship at Miami, 2 Super Bowl championship with the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to take a little tour around his place, check out his boats, check out the water. Now, what makes Isla Mirada so spectacular fishing?
Well, you got the Gulf Stream that comes in close. You got a lot of bait fish, and you got I mean, you just got so much clean water.
Right. So that's part of it.
And you're only 3 miles. Whereas I fished in North Carolina, and we had to go, 45, 50 miles to get to the Gulf Stream.
Right.
We go 3 miles, and we're in a couple hundred feet of water.
Now, you look out here. You got all this beautiful water. Where did this love for the water come from?
Well, born and raised in Port Arthur, Texas, right there, on the beach, and my dad and my mother and our whole family, we would go out fishing. We'd go out water skiing, and I was exposed to the water, from the time I was born. And I mean, it was just such a great time growing up. It's a great family atmosphere.
Now, Port Arthur, the Gulf, is that water a little bit warmer than it is up here?
It's warmer and it's darker.
Meaning dirtier. So now, how many brothers you have? Brothers and sisters?
I got 1 brother, 1 older brother, 1 younger sister.
Okay. And so now everybody loves the fish, loves the outdoors.
Oh, yeah, everybody, that's kind of what we grew up doing. It's just, fishing and being on the water. And you know what? I love just getting in my boat and going out there, and if I catch a couple of fish, fine. If I don't catch any fish,
right,
it is just great being out there. I mean, I see something. Took Norv Turner out a couple of days ago. We saw porpoises, we saw turtles. We did a whole lot, didn't catch a lot of fish, but we saw a whole bunch of stuff. Then the next day I go out and I got 9 lobster. Went scuba diving, got 9 lobster. So there's always something out there.
All right, let's go take a look at that boat that you got sitting over there.
We'll look at 3 rings over here. You can always use more rod and reels and more boats.
That's the one thing. Well, now we take a look at here at these rods and reels here. You're primarily fishing where out there now with these?
Well, I got these Shimano's here, and I just do it out front. One time last year, I went out and I saw some live pilchers and bait, and I threw a net, got about 50 pilchers,
right,
threw them in there, and my buddy came over. 2:30 in the afternoon, we go right out in front of the house. I hook up 5 sailfish. I can, no more than 3 miles, I can still see the port. Hook up 5 sailfish in 4 hours. I mean, so it's all right here, but I did it right here on the contender.
All right, tell us about the contender. Is this your main fishing boat?
Yeah, I got all the electronics on it. I got the autopilot. I fish a lot by myself. Put the outriggers out. I got those 4-stroke engines, and those things are beautiful.
Oh, absolutely.
They're quiet. There's no smoke, there's no rough idle, and they're economical as far as the gas. But anyway, I mean, the contender, it is a rocket ship out there. I mean, it can fly. I get out there in a hurry.
Now, when you take 3 rings,
big boy,
the big boy, when you take 3 rings now, you can go anywhere. Where do you normally go? And I also saw some heavy-duty rods on 3 rings.
I got all those Penn International on 3 rings.
Now, where's your favorite spot to go?
Well, to give you an example, here a couple of weeks ago, I'm jogging out here trying to lose some of this weight.
You and I are always trying to do that.
And the wind wasn't blowing. I came back up the house. I told Rhonda, I said, pack them up. I said, let's go to Nassau. We jumped on 3 rings, 53-foot ocean, and got 1050 mans, and so I can cruise about 32, 33 knots.
Okay. And
so I'm flying across the Gulf Stream. I made it to Nassau in about 5 hours and 45 minutes, and on the way caught a couple of dolphins.
All right, now tell us about these 2 unique-looking rods.
Well, what I have here, Fishing Unlimited made these rods for me, and what I wanted was a stand-up to where I could, really go without a fighting chair,
right,
and get the rollers on the front and the back for my line, and then I got these Penn Internationals as far as I got 30 wide here and I got a 50 wide here.
Right.
Now, only time I'd bring that big boy out is if we think we're going to get a marlin,
right,
or a big, huge tuna. But these, really the 30 wide, I use those for anything, dolphin, big dolphin, or tuna. But one time I was with a group that went over to Nassau on 3 rings here. Had Gary Dunn and Dennis Hare, a bunch of old players,
okay,
and we had 12-foot
seas, went up to 15-foot seas. And
How much throwing up was going on there?
There's 2 or 3 of them. Dennis Harrell lost it all right there. Gary Dunn and I sitting back in the cockpit having a couple of cold ones and just laughing at him.
Well, I tell you what, now we're going to go, you're going to see the 3 rings we've been talking about besides the boat, and we're going to see a lot of memorabilia about Jimmy Johnson and his football coaching career. Now, everybody talks about the Gatorade shot, but now which world championship is this one?
Yeah, this one here is the second one when we won it in Atlanta. And, you know, this one we actually made it through it all right. The one before, Leon Lett dropped the whole Gatorade bucket on my head. It about hurt me. Yeah, here's a nice shot. Just some former head coach. Dick Nolan, that was on my staff at Dallas. Head coach. Dave Campo, now the head coach. Butch Davis, head coach at Cleveland.
Dave
Shula, at one time, head coach at Cincinnati. Dave Wanstead, head coach. And then later on, I added Norv Turner. So a few head coaches in the league worked
Well, we just called this Jimmy Johnson University. You're just training guys.
In the first Super Bowl, I remember there in Pasadena when those Jets went over top. I knew we were going to win the game.
Right.
And it was just such a great feeling of accomplishment,
right.
You know, a great feeling of pride. And the second memory is after we won the second Super Bowl in Atlanta, we had a phone call, and I was in the locker room, and I just not knowing what I was doing, and the phone went over there, and it was President Clinton. He said, Jimmy, we'd like to have you come to the White House. And without thinking, I said, well, I'm sorry, Mr. President, I'm going fishing down the Keys. Don't you know, Jerry grabbed that phone and said, Mr. President, we'll be there, I promise you.
Especially when you consider that the president went to Arkansas, you went to Arkansas,
Right.
and Jerry Jones went to Arkansas. So a good old alum, you had to make the show.
Yeah, we made it up there a couple of times to the White House, and again, that was a great thrill. And I think more than anything else, when something like that happens, it's the pride that you have for the people that you love, your family, your wife, your parents, your kids. You know how proud they are, and so that makes you feel that much better.
This has been a lot of fun visiting with Jimmy Johnson on Islamorada at his fantastic place with both boats, the Contender and 3 rings. Jimmy, thanks for helping us go fishing across America.
Thank you, Denny. Dennis, nice to meet you.
Peter, good seeing you. Come
Meet
on
Scott Levin, Captain Scott Levin, Dennis
Captain,
Green.
nice to meet you.
These mangroves actually make land. They set a root down in the shallow water, and then more sand forms around them. So this is an extremely part of the ecology in the whole South Florida area. Big nursery area, lots of small things grow up in here and then go out. So we're going to be fishing along the edge of these mangroves. You'll see they actually sort of stand on stilts.
The key thing about those mangroves when we try to find this fish are that it's the only tree that grows in salt water. And this is, as I said before, 90% salt water. So let's start catching some fish. It drops very quick.
Drops off right quick, yeah.
Okay, our first one of the day by the coach.
What do you got there, Coach?
Speckled trout.
Sea trout, all right. Got him on that big old lure, too.
We're here fishing for ladyfish, also for some speckled trout. What you're also seeing is a lot of big dolphin, and those dolphins, they're fishing for the same thing.
There's a fish right there, Dennis.
Good.
There he is. You notice that take was really subtle. The line just kind of tightened up, and I pulled, and he was already there. A lot of these fish, this is what's called your spotty or your spotted bay bass. They're built for short bursts of speed, so they have a short, wide tail. So They don't swim very far, very fast, but they're very good in that 2 to 6 foot range. They can come up and smack a fly pretty hard. But they're pretty fish.
Average one we'll catch today will be about how big?
Anywhere from half a pound to about 2 pounds.
Well, that was a great explanation by Peter Piccone, our tremendous fishing guy. So on San Diego Bay, fishing for spotted bay bass, we've got a couple. What you love to get is a double. That's when Peter gets a fish on and I get a fish on. And right now we're using fly rods. Peter, always a teacher. He does a great job of teaching my son Zachary how to fly fish also. Zach loves it, has a great time with it. You notice I've got that fly rod real high. I lost a couple earlier because I had it too low. If it looks like we're rocking and rolling a little bit, we are. Every now and then some big ships roll through. Peter gets his fish off, but I'm still trying to get mine in. Now that's what I call a big ship. Of course, it's with the U.S. Navy. No numbers showing. We're fishing right in front of San Diego downtown and a naval ship. Well, I tell you what, it's always fun. I go to the bay maybe about once every 3 weeks. Well, everybody knows about fishing, but what about the Great Northwest? We have the Willamette and we have the Columbian River. What do they have? Well, the great salmon, king, coho, and right now, a spring Chinook run. We're on the Willamette. I'm with fishing guide Terry Mulkey, who's going to tell us about the great day of fishing we're going to have today. Terry, tell us about what it looks like this morning. It's almost the first day of May.
We have a beautiful morning here, a little bit of overcast. That little bit of light off the water is going to help us out a big time today. We have less traffic today than I normally have. I know it looks like there's a bunch of boats here this morning, but really there isn't, and that's a good thing.
A tiller on a 200 horsepower engine? Tell me about it.
Hey, in our fisheries, it's all open boats. We have a lot of wind and rain, as you've heard. And we have all control of the motor right here. You have your power and your steering. And we have run of pumps on this, so we can run this boat in 6 inches of water. You will not see any steering wheels on these motors out here.
On the Willamette, they call that a hog line. 10 boats side by side, all anchored up, and what they're doing is they're kind of using a buddy system to try to get to the fish. We were talking about the hog line. Tell us again about it.
Right. The hog line there is a way they used to fish back in the 20s and 30s on the Spring Chinook run. And it's a big social event. I mean, you got to know somebody to get in that line.
Now, have you heard of the hog line or that type of fishing anywhere else in the country?
I have not. I've never heard of it. And the reason they call them hogs is because the native run to this river, which are the Kenai fish they have now, were 100-pounders. And they called them June hogs, and it became the hog lines.
Well, I'm being joined by Andy Toms, a fish and wildlife biologist out here on the Willamette River. How important is the dam to this stream, and how important is the dam to the great Northwest states of Oregon and Washington?
Well, the dams are extremely important. I mean, they generate all of our electricity and allow us to have the life that we have out here. But you know, knowing that we've got dams, we still have responsibilities to get the fish around the dams. And actually, you know, when we talk about fish migrations, we're talking about fish migration upstream and downstream. The adults have to go up, the juveniles have to come down. And if you don't take care of both those directions, you're in trouble.
Fish on.
As you can see, man, we got our first fish. Here we go. Which way? I'm gonna work around this way?
Go that
You gonna work this side? As you know, this is an exciting thing. You hear the guys yelling over there. They've been, everybody has so much fun when you go fishing. As much as anything, it's a big community. Now, a couple of things you see, guys are bringing their lines up also. They'll see me coming by, they reel their lines in, and they see me fighting way down.
Okay, taking to this side of the boat.
Okay.
Okay, now you got it.
There he is. He's good. He's good size.
There you go. There you go.
First look at him, see? We got a peek at him. He's got good size.
Okay, I'm going to spin the boat a little bit.
Right. Okay.
Let him run.
All right. We got him turned.
Down, put the rod down the water.
Okay, now lift up.
This is why there are 300 boats out here and probably 300 bank anglers. This is one that we really like. He's nice, good size, and he's also great eating. I hope you enjoyed the show. I had a great time. We're fishing on the Willamette for the Spring Chinook Run. It was exciting. We had fishing guide Terry Mulkey, who did a great job, and also special guest Andy Toms, a fish and wildlife biologist. Those guys know this river left and right. There had to be over 300 boats in a 2-mile area and at least 300 anglers fishing from the deck. That's what I call outdoors. That's what I call enjoying the environment. That's what I call fishing. Today we're going to the Great Northwest. We're going to be fishing on the Clackamas River. Where's that? Well, it starts with a steelhead fish coming out of the ocean in the Columbia River. Then it makes a right turn and comes up the Willamette, and when it makes a left turn and breaks off the Clackamas, that's where we're going for steelhead. As we go up the Clackamas River, we're going to have Terry Mulkey as our guide. The first thing you're going to see is Terry running 200 Mercury, standing up with a hand tiller. It's some of the most exciting trouting I've ever done, and I've been on many rivers as I've crossed America. One distinctive thing about the Clackamas is that it basically runs off of Mount Hood. Mount Hood is the highest mountain peak in Oregon. It has snow year-round, so as it starts to thaw and melt down, it runs downhill. One of the things that we know is that it's very clear, it's always very cold. Not a great river for swimming, but a great one for fishing. What we're doing now is using a real nice slow drift. We've got more still water, a lot of rapids down below. When we try to get the steelhead, they find the area here is kind of like a pool, and they kind of use this as a way they rest up a little bit as they continue to go up the river. What we're trying to do now is slowly allow the bait to drop in front of them, and hopefully when they're in that resting period, they're going to find and take it. Now we are finding some smaller fish jumping out of the water, which means that there could be some steelhead working here, and we're in about 8 to 9 feet of water at this particular time. Terry, all this water looks great. In other words, every bit of this water looks like there's a fish here. How do you determine where you think the steelhead are going to hold at?
The steelhead like little riffly water. They want big rock outcroppings under the water. They're like a bath so they can rest behind it. They need water going over the top of it fairly fast to create more oxygen. They like a little more oxygen in the water than like a Chinook would. So these fish travel mostly at night, especially in this clear water. They don't travel during the day. So what you have in the mornings is certain spots, especially in those spots like that, to catch those fish.
So they're resting in behind those big boulders, staying out of the current. Then when the evening times, they move out and move. So for us to catch them, what has to happen?
We have to find a spot where someone else hasn't fished today.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know this river like the back of your hand, so I think we'll find that spot. He's here? Okay.
There he is.
He's a tricky little rascal. Okay, yep. Right. Okay. Oh, right up. Oh, that's opposite. Okay. Where I'm from, when he goes to jump, you bow to him. No, no, no. It's a nice one, too. Okay, okay. We're getting close. You get him? Okay. Good job, Terry. All right, partner. Good job.
Good job, buddy.
Well, now, this is a summer run of a steelhead. This guy was very tricky in that when I hooked him, he started coming towards us, and I thought I actually got off. The one I missed right before, maybe 10 minutes before, he jumped right away. This one did not jump until he's maybe 10 feet from the boat. From that point on, he jumped about 6 straight times. Quite a battle. Terry did a great job in coaching me up, and I tell you what, this is what you go steelhead fishing for in the Clackamas River. That's what it's all about. Well, they call it Big Blue, Lake Tahoe, California. We normally go for skiing, have some great runs. Marie's at one of her favorite runs at 10,500 feet elevation, but there's still time in June to go fishing in the coves like Vanessa and I. The next morning, Zach and I were out first thing in the morning with Captain Tom fishing for a Mackinaw trout. Because Lake Tahoe is 1,600 feet deep, you're pretty much deep water fishing, but the Mackinaw trout, not well known, but very nice to catch. Zach got a good one there. You know, the sun comes up in the morning. Lake Tahoe is prettiest anywhere you'll ever find, particularly when it's only 6:30 in the morning. Deep water jigging. We're catching those fish at about 300 feet deep. So you get them schooling down there, and when the sun did come out, it did warm up. Zach always lets you know when he catches a fish. There's nothing like a little enthusiasm and excitement, and Zach has both when he catches a fish. I got my DW hat on for Drum Workshop. You know, I played the drum and all of the music for the DVD, and Drum Workshop is a company up in Oxnard, California. Good friends of mine. End of a beautiful day fishing. Mackinaw trout, Lake Tahoe, California with Zach. Well, it's always fun to come to Lake San Vicente outside of San Diego, California. A couple reasons. Number one, it's beautiful. The lake system and the water supply is a big part of San Diego and all the water that it needs. The 7th largest city in America. It needs a lot of water. San Vicente is one of those aspects of it. Number two, it's a great bass fishing lake. A lot of big bass, a lot of solid bass. And I think anytime I come to San Vicente, that also gives me a chance to fish my man Carl Lembrecht. And Carl right now has got his first hook up already, so let's take a look and see what he's got on. Good job, Carl. Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're feisty out here, Coach.
Yeah,
they're feisty.
That's a nice fish. When you get a bass on your first cast, like Carl Limbrick just did, I hope that means you're going to have a great day of fishing. Yeah. Okay, let him bang around a little bit. Let him bang around a little bit. No, I think you're out a little bit. Because that was, remember I told you I missed one earlier. Yeah. This is my first one on the Carolina rig this year in 2007. Again, the idea is letting that thing work slow. He's got the worm that he got to keep. I don't think you like it. Nice one, nice fish. Good job, Carl. Didn't miss that one.
Oh, that's a big one, Coach.
Nice one.
Oh.
Might be a female.
Yeah.
Dance a little more for him. Now the question is this the one I missed before? Every angler will tell you that it is. We don't really know that. But every angler will tell you, that's the one I missed before. New York Harbor and New York Bay with Captain Joe Mattioli. We took off from Staten Island. In this part of New York, it's all about the fishing and the boating. What a gorgeous morning. The sun burning bright. I hook up with the bluefish right from the start. We used a combination of spinning rods and also some fly rods. The bluefish is always ready to give you a big battle. You never know when you get hooked whether you're going to catch a striped bass or a bluefish. Both of them fight, and both of them very aggressive. We're moving around, so we fish in the harbor and the bay. Here it was all about the birds. The birds took us right to the bait fish. The bait fish took us right to the striped bass. We caught quite a few in this section. Now later on, we went up into the harbor to the Statue of Liberty. We caught some fish, but there was a problem. Homeland Security had boarded a boat anyway, checked our IDs, checked the ownership of the boat. We decided from that point on there would be no more video cameras in New York Harbor and New York Bay. We did get some great sights though with the still camera. Big striped bass. Of course, here's old Lady Liberty. A shot of that just for fun. But it was a great trip. We had a lot of fun, and we caught a lot of big bass and big bluefish. Fishing with Captain Joe Mattioli in New York Harbor and Bay. my hometown, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, fishing with my brother, Greg Green. What a morning out on the Condequinnet Creek. It flows into the Susquehanna River. We're both fly fishing and we're looking for smallmouth bass. On this creek, we normally catch them in the evening time. It's not necessarily great in the morning, but it was a beautiful morning. Greg absolutely loves to fly fish. That's probably why he's a lot smoother in his casting than I am. It's always amazing when you're standing in about 1 foot of water, catching a smallmouth bass in about 2 feet of water. We later moved to the big Susquehanna River, which flows into the Chesapeake Bay, one of the widest rivers in the country. Greg's hooked on a smallmouth here, giving him quite a battle. Billy, Bobby, Stan, Greg, and Dennis. That was my dad. This is the same Susquehanna River, and that was 50 years ago. I still love fishing it whenever I can, and of course Greg gets out there a lot. It's beautiful. Well, I'm at Ascarity Fishing Lake, part of the Community Fishing Lake family, and I've got Norman Merrifield here, who really works for Parks and Recreation, but what he really loves to do is fish. I met Norman up in Minnesota back in the old days. He had bass boat, and we did a lot of fishing. Norman, how long have you been in El Paso?
Been in El Paso 3 years.
Okay.
3 years, then.
And you're working for?
The city of El Paso, and I'm the director of Parks and Recreation here.
Okay, now what does that job entail?
We are involved in a multitude of activities, primarily the parks and maintenance of those parks. We have 185 parks here in El Paso. We have city neighborhood parks, which range from about 1 to 3 or 4 acres, community parks, which are much larger, 10 to 20 acres, and then you have the regional parks. We have 1 or 2 of those, which are much, much larger. We have a population here in El Paso of about 700,000 people.
This is what I call classic bank fishing. I'm running along the channel. What I'm trying to do is bring this right along. There's a point here. Most often, you catch fish on points. There's points running out here. I'm trying to bring this lure across this point. Well, you know, I'm enjoying fishing here at Ascarity, and the reason I really came to El Paso is Renard Johnson. Renard invited me. Renard, tell me about El Paso, man.
Well, Coach, you couldn't pick a better time to come to El Paso. The weather's beautiful. Today's going to be 85. The hospitality here in El Paso is fantastic.
What makes up Ascarity? I mean, I notice I see a golf course, and I could do some damage on that golf course, I guarantee you. It's a beautiful looking course. What all is here?
Yeah, Coach, we're surrounded by, as you mentioned earlier, the golf course. We've got 18 holes of golf. We've got the lake here, which is about 20, 30 acres of a lake. We also had an amusement park that was part of this community. Just on the east side of us, we have baseball parks, soccer fields, so we have a swimming pool here, so it's a real good community magnet that brings the community together.
When you think of El Paso, you think of a lot of things, but do you think of Ascarity Fishing Club? That's where we're at right now at Lake Ascarity, a community fishing lake, and I'm here with two guys that are very important and very involved in a community fishing project, and actually head of the Ascarity Fishing Club. First, we got Frank and also Ed. Frank, tell me about your club.
Okay, my name is Frank De La Rosa, and the Ascarity Fishing Club, our mission is mainly with kids. We have 4 major fishing events every year, which we provide the poles, the bait, the hot dogs, the chips, and the punch, and everything for the. All they have to come up here with their family, their parents, and it's a family thing, you know.
Well, I tell you what, I'm still at the community fishing lake. I love it. I grew up bank fishing. My son Zach and I, we go to Poway Community Fishing Lake about once every 2 weeks or so. Catch a lot of sunnies. We try to catch bass. Now we'll let him get out there a little bit. So he's not very big, but he's a fish. It's a white bass. Now you guys have stripers. It's a white bass. Yes. I should use him for bait. Now, the best news about that is that when you catch one, you start catching others.
Happy fishing!
The Chippewa Flowage and Lake Chetek.
Let me help you get that off. Whoa, we got a leaper.
Look at it. Let's get it up.
He's coming, Zach. How you doing, Zach? What do you got?
Tiger pike.
All right,
buddy.
It's skinny.
We're fishing with Ty Sennett on the Chippewa Flowage. He knows all about northern. That northern pike is every bit as mean as it looks. Ty also catches a lot of muskie in the Chippewa Flowage. And Zach, how big was that fish, Zach? Got a bass. Now we're fishing Lake Chetek. Now there's a lake with a lot of largemouth bass. That's Jim Law, my wife Marie's father. Look at that smile. When we go there, we fish from morning to night, sun up to sundown. Okay. We caught a lot of big bass, probably about 40. Some were with the weeds. The comforts of fishing in a pontoon boat, you can't beat it. It was sunny. When you haul a fish over top of the boat, you have to be careful. If it's too big, you'll lose it. How about that silhouette with Zach Green? And that was actually a sunset. Oh. Okay. Trying to go underneath the boat.
Protect yourself.
Come on out of there. Nice bass. I'm not gonna let you.
16-inch bass, about 4 pounds.
Back to the bay with Peter Piccone. I have my brother Greg Green with me, and also my older son, Jeremy Green. Oh, did you get it?
Yep.
We will get rid of Mr. Claus's. All right.
Bent over double. I'm gonna see if I can get one more shot of this thing.
Okay.
You look good though.
Yeah.
Look at all the bait. Look at all the bait.
Now they eat all that bait fish?
Just keep the tail in the
There it
water.
is.
Yeah.
Wow. See what happened? She came up and swung at it.
That's an explosive bat ray. He did swing at it. It looked pretty mean. We got him off, but you'll catch virtually anything in the bay. You've seen that guy fly fishing before. That's my brother Greg, and he's out here in San Diego.
Here we go.
Winter morning, man. You hear the beagles, they get on a trail, man, they start barking. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and they can't stop talking. They're talking the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
I love contact.
Greg sounded like a beagle from the old days. We're at the mouth of the bay, which is at the north. We did catch some nice spotted bay bass this day. Peter Berconi, our guide, can always find the fish. That's my older son, Jeremy Green. Bright, sunny morning on San Diego Bay. He had fun fishing for spotted bay bass, but I have to tell you, he really loves to fish for northern pike, so he missed out on that action in Wisconsin. He caught a lot too. And I think this is my last fish of the day on the fly rod. San Diego. Got him? Work him harder. Good, head up. All right, come right toward me. All right, good job, sand perch. Walk towards it. Good job on the sand perch. That goes from fishing in the surf to surfboarding on surfing waves. In the summertime, he gets out surfing at least 3 times a week. He really enjoys it. He's got good balance. He's a terrific athlete. Ocean and the waves are there every day. I could surf fish every day if I wanted to. I only do it about 3 times a week, but boy, we have fun. Water's good and cold, and there's nothing like standing in the water when you're catching fish. reach over and grab the line. Pull it back. Pull it, lift it up. Nice sand perch. Turn it sideways.
That's a nice big perch. We also catch yellowtail croaker. We get some big, ugly guitar fish, sand shark. We catch quite a few. It's exciting. You never know what you're going to catch fishing in the surf in Del Mar, California. That's right, it is time to say goodbye. Thanks for going fishing across America with Dennis Green. I've been your host. I hope you had fun. I really enjoyed myself.